Hi there and welcome back to the Duke of Scottish Issues here in Geneva. I'm joined today by Milos Maricic from the International Committee of the Red Cross. So Milos, welcome.
It's a pleasure to be here.
So you work for a renowned international organisation, but there's a proliferation of organisations today with the same kind of audiences and similar funding sources. So how does one stand out from the crowd?
It's a very interesting question, actually, and I get asked that question quite a lot. What is happening? So there are so many international organizations out there, and they're trying to capture a wide audience, and they have many technological tools at their disposal to do so. But actually capturing these audiences effectively is not an easy thing to do. It takes a lot of effort. What a lot of organizations end up doing is simply broadcasting, i.e. putting all this content into different communication channels and hoping that people out there in the dark are going to pick up this content. But that's not exactly how it works. To really get your message across, you need to engage people. You need to engage them in two-way communication. And to do that, you need to understand who they are. You need to look at what their habits are, what they like, what they don't like, what they expect in terms of their communication consumption. And then you need to look at how they perceive you. You look at how you want them to perceive you. And only then you can really think about how you want to engage them, i.e. what action you want them to take. So do you want them to share your content? Do you want them to take a specific action? Or do you want them perhaps to give you funding and support your cause? And by the way, this is something that is more difficult to achieve for non-profit international organizations than it is for organizations in the private sector, because it's not all about the money. It is a little bit also about intangibles that are sometimes difficult to measure. So it's not that easy, but organizations that have been able to go ahead and understand and engage their audiences are the ones that are actually being successful and that are managing to stand out. And I believe the ICRC is one of those organizations.
Fantastic. So you'll be giving a workshop in New York in October. So tell us a bit more about that. Yes.
So in October in New York, there is going to be what is called the Future of Storytelling Conference. And it is an invite-only event that focuses on the concept of storytelling that I will explain shortly. So I was kindly asked to go there and give one of the workshops on storytelling in the digital domain. So why is this important? We've established that it's extremely important to engage with your audiences. How do you best do that? You can simply send out text information. People will forget it in a couple of hours. You can send out numbers. People will forget them in a couple of days. But if you package your content, your ideas as stories, people might never forget them. We all know this and we've experienced this because we all grew up with stories, children's stories, and some of them stay with us until today. And so that is the idea. The idea is to teach people, to train people to package their content in a storytelling fashion. And this is an old idea. We all have a natural tendency to do so. Now the challenge is what? The challenge is with the proliferation of different technological platforms to package your story in such a way that you find an appropriate technological means for your audiences, meaning an infographic or a short video or a social media package or maybe a virtual reality tool. There is a proliferation of new tools and people need to understand them. When this is done well, it can have an amazing impact. So we have all seen videos that put us in the shoes of refugees in Syria that really move us. We have seen infographics that explain extremely difficult concepts, such as, for example, climate change, that are actually really dry and can be quite boring, frankly. But if you find a really nice narrative that takes you through an infographic, you feel compelled to stay and see it through the end. So that is what I'll be trying to help people with. I will run a workshop that is going to focus on defining one key message, one sentence key message, and then trying to transform that key message into a story, package it properly in a proper technological format, and then just send it out there to the audiences. So hopefully people will learn to package their stories a bit better.
Absolutely. So you've mentioned the different digital packages there. So you're a very experienced public speaker and you speak many languages. So how does that compare and what is the difference? And is it still relevant with different communication packages now?
Oh, I feel that the interpersonal multilingual aspect is today more important than it ever was. I really do. And we see that within the context of the ICRC work on a daily basis. One thing that is extremely important for us, working on the ground, in the field, with the people with whom we work and whom we assist and all the different stakeholders, is to engage them face-to-face on a personal basis. These people very rarely speak English, so we need to speak to them in their local language and we need to follow their local customs. As much as we like to think that the world is becoming increasingly global, actually the local context is becoming increasingly important, not only on the side of the actual work that we do in the field, but also on the communications aspect. So what we are seeing is that our audiences, the more global the world is becoming, the more granular these audiences are becoming as well. So you're no longer thinking about the world as one market, you're talking about one country as being composed of 10 different particular markets with different mentalities and slightly different communication needs. We at the ICRC routinely produce content in maybe half a dozen languages, but going forward, I see that becoming more and more granular and more customizable, so that the future of the storytelling concept in the future of just the digital communication offer, I see it as extreme customization, so that down the road we have a situation where each and every one of our the people in the audience with whom we are speaking have a slightly different version of the product that we're offering for their needs. I.e. that even though there are maybe billions of people that we're speaking to, that each one of them has this feeling that we're engaging them on a one-on-one basis. It is a difficult concept to perhaps put in practice, but I think the proliferation of the technological tools at our disposal will make that possible in the future.
Fantastic. Well, Milos, thank you so much for coming in today. It sounds like a very exciting time for the company.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
Well, that's all that we have time for today. But for all the latest Dukascopy updates, do keep clicking back. Goodbye for now.